Hello everyone! Do you like to watch Crusader Kings videos? But whenever you try to play the game and pull off the insane things you see in the videos, you simply fail. Do you too want to be a glorious Viking raider, reaving up and down coastlines, and ruling a massive empire without having to constantly die to plots, rival invasions, or simply your own ineptitude? Then this is the video for you. My name is Koifish, and I'm gonna show you how to go from this tiny Jarldom of Uppland with barely any money, low prestige, and a small puny Viking army, to this, a massive Scandinavian empire with a reformed also through religion, massive earnings, insane prestige, and an army of 20,000 Vikings with insane Varangian men-at-arms units that deal a whopping 86 damage. Incredible Viking Space Marines. And this is how you do it. In this complete Crusader Kings tutorial, where I will show you how to get all of this using some of the best strategies that I have come up with myself and found from other great Crusader Kings 3 players. So without further ado, this is the ultimate Crusader Kings 3 Viking Start by Koifish. Alright, here we are in Uppland with the glorious character Jarl Björn Ironside of Uppland. Very fitting. He's right where he belongs. We have the traits Brave, which is absolutely great, except for one thing. It really increases the likelihood of us dying in battle. The line between foolishness and bravery is very thin. We're also Impatient, which reduces our learning, but increases our prestige by a whole lot, which is very important. You see, as a tribal, we spend prestige to build our men-at-arms. Now, men-at-arms are specialized soldiers. Your normal army consists of levies, peasant, malicious ruffians, local sellswords, anyone that your empire or kingdom or county could convince to fight for your cause. A levy has 10 damage and 10 toughness. This is the bulk of your army. But we do have men-at-arms, which are specialized soldiers. For example, we start with Bundi, a special men-at-arms regiment that only Norsemen can have. These guys are considered spearmen. Now, the whole thing about men-at-arms, it's a bit like rock, paper, scissors. Spearmen counter light cavalry and archers, while archers counter skirmishers, which are in turn countered by heavy cavalry and light cavalry. You have the Huskarls, which is a very strong heavy infantry unit that counters spearmen, but are in turn countered by skirmishers. Now, if the levy had 10 damage and 10 toughness, the Huskarl has 42 damage and 27 toughness, meaning these guys are a whole lot more effective. But the downside is that they cost prestige if you're a tribal, or gold if you're feudal. Our last trait we have is Honest. It increases our diplomacy, but reduces our intrigue by a whole lot. Jarl Björn Ironside is the best Viking character to play if you're starting out, as he has a great blend between diplomacy and warfare. He also starts with the Viking Raider trait. This is great, as it gives us just flat extra prestige. Now, to set up your Viking game, we're going to do 3 things. We're going to need at least a kingdom title, but I'm gonna try for an empire in one lifetime. We're going to have an army that can beat anyone else. We're talking everyone in Europe, and heck, I even think you could take on the Abbasids if we do this correctly. And lastly, we will need to set up a lot of wealth, so that when our time comes and we pass on, we will have enough money to make the succession go easy. Now, if you don't know, succession is basically when someone dies, the realm will be split up. There's different rules on how inheritance works in this game, but for all Viking tribals, we're looking at Gavelkind. That means that your main heir gets the main title, but your other sons might split the realm and take their piece. Now, I know that was a lot of information, but don't worry. By the end of this video, you will be able to do all of this and more super easily. Crusader Kings has a bit of a steep learning curve, but please, take my hand and I will pull you up that curve so you can stand on the top of it and look down at yourself. Now, starting off, you want to keep the game paused. We're going to go up here and click Lifestyle. Currently, we have no lifestyle chosen, but depending on your education, you gain benefits. For example, Björn Ironside has a lovely diplomacy education, which gives him 30% more experience gain. Now, don't let that dissuade you. Even if you have another education, you can still go into any lifestyle you want, and you should fare pretty well. A quick overview of the lifestyles. I've done a complete guide of all lifestyles. You can check that playlist out in the description. That should give you a taste of what the different lifestyles can do. But for a quick overview, diplomacy is all about gaining prestige, having better relationship with rulers, or building a greater family. Martial is all about controlling your territory, gaining more territory, or being a valorous knight. Stewardship is all about earning extra money, building up your realm, or being a better vassal. Intrigue is all about plotting, killing, murdering, and seducing, including torture. This is the most base tree. And learning is all about increasing your health, increasing your knowledge, or increasing your relation to God. But we're going to go with diplomacy. As Jarl Björn Ironside is pretty old, we start out with a bunch of perks unlocked. Now for this particular opener that I'm gonna show you, you have to restart the game until you get a Björn Ironside that has pre-spec'd into August. This is the perk tree that is all about majesty. It will give us extra prestige, which we need to uphold our big men-at-arms retinues. For example, Firm Hand increases our prestige per dread. Now dread I will show you how to get later, but just know that extra prestige is very good. We also get Praetorian Guard, giving us monthly prestige per night. But the best perk we're looking for here is True Ruler. Offer Vassalization Acceptance. This is very important for this start, and I'll show you why very soon. If your Björn Ironside starts without these perks unlocked, you can click reset perks. Now keep in mind, you can only do this once a lifetime, and it will give you 100 stress, which will push you over the border and give you a stress event. Now these don't have to be bad, but generally they're pretty bad. So we're going to go with Majesty Focus. Now as a rule of thumb, you can only gain perks in your chosen lifestyle if you picked one of the lifestyle focuses. But don't worry, you can pick any of these three and still unlock perk points to put into any of these trees. So you can go family focus for your increased fertility, but still put your perk points into diplomat. Alright, that's our lifestyle chosen. Now all we have to do is sit back and relax. We will gradually earn lifestyle experience as we play, so there's nothing you have to do other than picking the perks once they're available. Now for the fun part. We're going to do a very classic opener playing as Jarl Björn Ironside, and by using the fact that all of these rulers are Norse, and all of them have a lesser title than Jarl, which is equivalent to Duke if you're playing as a European feudal. If we are the first to form a kingdom, we're able to offer vassalage to all of these people in Sweden, Norway, and even Denmark. This will leave us with a realm in less than 5-10 years that will give us enough prestige, enough gold to uphold an army that can crush anyone. It should also be noted that we start off at war. We are helping out our brother, Jarl Halfdan Whiteshirt, in his invasion of Northumberland. Now we can help him, and this would further the standing of the Norsemen, the Vikings, in the world. If he loses, then our house has less prestige. 9 times out of 10, he's completely fine on his own, as he has more troops than Ayla. Another bonus of helping him is that you do gain prestige if you help out in wars. But for this start, we're going to simply leave him to his own devices. Instead, we're going to offer vassalage to all rulers that are willing to do so. Now to fully utilize this vassalage start, we need to form the Kingdom of Sweden. You can find all the tabs by clicking the country, then clicking the shield belonging to that county. In this case, Jarl of Uppland. Here you can see that this is a duchy, and inside of this duchy you see all of these chiefdoms. You can then click under de jure, which means basically by law or by right. You see that this duchy should belong to the Kingdom of Sweden, which hasn't been created yet. Now down here you can see what you need to create it. You need 13 de jure counties, 250 gold, and 2 duchy titles. We currently own, as you can see in parentheses here, 12 counties, meaning we have to gain 1 extra to be able to pull this off. We also need a bit of gold. Now it usually costs 500 gold to make a kingdom title, but tribals get a 50% discount. And the best part about making titles is that it gives prestige. So right off, we're going to try to vassalize someone, as with our start, we should have enough opinion that we can easily vassalize this man. Here you can see the different acceptance bonuses. A base reluctance of -50 is countered by the True Ruler perk that I showed before, giving +20, but we get another penalty that we're not his rightful liege. Now rightful liege basically means that if I was the King of Sweden, he is by de jure a vassal of my kingdom, and he's more likely to join. But we get some other bonuses. I have way more troops than him, giving me a difference in military strength, and my powerful vassals quite like me, giving him +9. We also speak the same language, and he likes me a lot. So we could probably send him a gift of 25 gold. That will give us 65 opinion. Now he's willing to accept. Offer vassalage. Now we can't raise our men to raid while we're at war, so we're going to hold off on that. Another way to gain opinion is by right clicking and then doing sway. We have a pretty high chance of swaying someone because we have a high diplomacy. So we're gonna start the scheme. This will gradually increase, or if we're unlucky, decrease our opinion of this ruler. Another way to get other rulers to like you is to have a chancellor. Now this is the council. On here, you have all your people helping you. Quickly, we have the Hofgod. This man is basically our connection to God. He can give us flat piety, he can convert areas to our religion, or he can get us claims. Now, as a Norseman, we more or less always have a conquest claim, so don't worry about this for now. We also have a Chancellor. We're gonna switch him out, as his stats aren't exactly great. Now, we can either do foreign affairs, which gives us prestige, but also randomly increases opinion of different rulers, or domestic affairs, which will increase my vassals' opinions of me. There's the Steward, that can help with either collecting taxes, giving me more gold, or increasing construction time and development. Basically how rich an area is, gradually. We're going to do that in our capital. There's also our Marshal. This man helps replenish our levies faster and reduces our army maintenance by a whole lot. This is important, as we will gain more and more troops. They do cost maintenance, even if we're not having them raised. There's also trained commanders. This is great, as it increases knight effectiveness and men-at-arms damage and toughness. We're going to switch over to this one right away. We do start with some men-at-arms regiments, but we'll get to that later. First, let's try to form Sweden as peacefully as possible. There we go, he joins us. When you're in a lifestyle focus, you will sometimes get these random events that help increase your lifestyle experience. In this case, it's our spy master, and we're trying to socially manipulate him. I guess Jarl Björn Ironside thinks gaslighting is kinda funny. Now, which one to pick depends on his traits. He's stubborn, gluttonous, and gregarious. Now, depending on which one I pick, he's not unassertive, lethargic, or unambitious. I think he's more doing anything for power. So let's try this. I picked the right one. Cruel, but it had to be done. This also gave me a manipulation hook on this man. If you click on intrigue, and then hooks and secret, you can see that I hold a hook over this man. Now, I can use this hook to gain a bit of extra push when I try to barter for something. Let's say, for example, that he wouldn't accept this. I can use my hook to increase it by 100, but we will hold off on this hook for right now. It can be very useful in the right moment. I will also go over here to relationship awards. We have a grandson, Björn Ironside, a little boy that's honest, zealous, with a lisp. I'm going to educate. By educating him, I impart some of my stats into his. I can also pick his education focus. We're going to go with Marshal. Right now, we're currently being raided, so we're going to raise our armies and go to counter him. Now, a thing to be noted is that we're passing over a strait, and we're probably not fast enough to go get him. We can sure try. No one raids me! Very good. Now all we have to do is to wait for the Sons of Lothbrok invasion to be over so that we can start raiding. But while we do that, we can also take our men-at-arms that we already start with and station them. You click the men-at-arms, then station. Depending on what buildings and what development your area has, you'll get different bonuses. For now, we don't really have any buildings, so we're gonna just put them out. But our strongest one should go in our capital, as that has a big bonus. Realm Capital and Tribe Hold gives us plus 20. This just flat increases the stat of our unit, making it ridiculously strong. We could also go into Sigtuna here, our capital, and construct a new building. We want to build the war camps, as this not only gives us an extra knight, but also knight effectiveness, increasing how well our knights fight. But also, stationed heavy infantry gets 20% more damage and 10% more toughness. So, let's get that built. As we're a tribal, we build with a mix of gold and prestige. Now, champions or knights, as other cultures call them, are actual people that fight as knights on the battlefield. For every 1 prowess, you get 100 damage and 10 toughness to your army. These guys are basically super soldiers, so you want to have as many of them as possible with high prowess. If there's someone here that you don't want to fight and risk their life on the battlefield, you can forbid them from fighting. But if there's someone that you really need to have, someone that's either way too good not to have fighting, or let's say that you want to get rid of them, you know, having a bit of a battlefield accident, you can force them, meaning they must join your armies as a champion. That means that he may take the place of a champion with higher prowess. For example, my son here, even though he's a great fighter, I'm going to forbid him from fighting. You, my son Erikir, have a way better future ahead of you, not dying in Uppland. We also have guests. We can recruit them for a flat gold sum. Sverker here is an aspiring blade master and has decently high prowess. We'll recruit him and force him to become our knight. Same with Grimber. Now going into play speed, if you press 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, you go at different speeds. You press space to pause. This does not work in multiplayer. It's kind of annoying. For new players, I recommend playing at 3 speed. You can pause anytime you want, and when an important event where you have to make a decision pops up, the game pauses automatically. depending on your settings. There we have swayed Thorfinn of Vermaland, meaning we're a bit closer to allowing us to vassalize him. Now here we had another option. This man, Jarl of Småland, has offered me a concubine. Now a concubine is basically a lesser spouse. It's for Norsemen and other cultures, and this will let us have more children without more marriages. It's basically a side piece just made to sire more heirs. Now let's take a look at her. Not only is she decently attractive, keep in mind genes do matter. How she looks combined with how I look will determine what our children look like. So if you're one of those players that play Crusader Kings like The Sims, take that into account. It's also her traits. This is a woman we're inviting not only to our court, but to our bed. Concubines have better chances of plotting against you. And even if they don't want to, let's say that someone else bribes them, then they could help carry out a murder. But this woman is brave, compassionate, and cynical, meaning that her compassionate nature will make her less likely to murder us. We're going to go for that. Accept. We could return the favor by offering him the woman right back, but that seems kinda goofy. And he already has a woman, an absolute massive giant. Now, although looking terrifying, giant is a physical trait, and it's considered congenital, meaning that children of this woman have a chance to become giants. It is overall a great trait. The minor health penalty is barely noticeable, and the +6 prowess, +0.5 prestige, and +10 tribal ruler opinion is absolutely huge. About as huge as Halla herself. And just like that, King Eila, the man that killed my father Ragnar Lothbrok, has died, and the war is over. That means that Halfdan Whiteshirt, my brother, now rules Jorvik, and that we are finally free to raid. We're going to click raise all as raiders, as what we need now is gold. That will raise all of our troops here to go into raiding stance. We'll also go raiding ourselves. Now, what commander you pick, you should go for his commander advantage score. This is determined by martial, not prowess. Your own prowess doesn't matter, as you can't serve as a knight in your own army. What it does matter for is when you fight in duels or in tours and tournaments. So what you're looking for is a high martial score and commander traits. In this case, having Chieftain Survey, my martial serve, will be a lot better. He gets advantage in plains, farmlands, and steppe. Clicking the sea means we'll embark onwards. This costs gold. And now we got an education event. My ill little grandson Björn Ironside. As we have high enough learning, we get to impart some of his traits. This time we're changing out the bossy. We can make him generous, we can make him diligent, or we can make him patient. This will cost a bit of stress, but diligent is a great trait. It gives +2 diplomacy, +3 stewardship, and +3 learning. We can also develop our capital at the cost of stress. We'll do that. He's going to be our heir someday after all. But the fact that he's ill is a pretty bad omen. We're going to click here on decisions and search for a physician. This will put out a message in the realm that I'm looking for a doctor. We can also go down here and click determine personal deity. This is a specific thing for Vikings. We can devote our life to one of the gods. Either Odin, giving us extra intrigue, Ullr, giving us more martial, but also a lot better speed in the winter, or Thor, stewardship and prowess, or Freyr, extra fertility and control. We're going to go with Freyr. This male version of Freya gives us protection in our realm and no protection in the bedroom, if you catch my drift. Now off we go, sailing on raiding. When you hire a court physician, you can pick between a very educated man that costs a whole lot more, or take a guess on a less educated but more enthusiastic one. We're going to be a cheapskate and save some money. Now prime raiding targets for a starting out Viking would be Ireland, but Ireland more or less is always raided. What you're looking for is capitals by tribals. They will hold 12 gold each. Now before you raid, you should check how many troops does this person have. This man has 500, meaning that I can easily stomp him. Now in we go. You can only raid buildings with holdings. If you hold an army that's raiding stance, you see exactly how much loot you're gonna get. Now keep in mind, when you're raiding, you're doing a mini siege. It's going to take a few days, and you can't move while you're doing this. This man tries to oppose us, but this absolute little manlet has nothing to put against me. Easily defeated, and the gold is mine. And would you look at that? We just unlocked a perk for our lifestyle. We're going to pick up August. At the end of all lifestyle trees, you get a specific perk. In this case, we get August. This gives us +2 diplomacy, +1 martial, and a flat +1 prestige a month. Now there's different bonuses to prestige. You either get a flat bonus, meaning I will get +1 every month just ticking, or you get a prestige modifier. Now you want a good mix, as in this case we gain 4.8, but also all of these wonderful bonuses. Now we keep raiding, and would you look at that, our Danish brothers are also raiding. We can also take the woman that we just hired as a doctor and make her a concubine as well. Take care of me, both in health and in the bedroom. Now we raided 2 holdings. When you're done raiding, you take your troops, send them back to your home area and deposit the loot. You will get every piece of coin as well as a matching amount of prestige. Very good. Keep in mind that Vikings can travel down the great rivers, like the Dnieper, meaning we could go to the Black Sea through this route instead. This is not available to all cultures, but it does let us raid one of my favorite spots. And I also got a daughter! Very good! Ragnhildur Björnsdottir. We will right away educate her, and this woman we shall educate in the ways of war. As the Norse culture can make shield maidens out of women, meaning they're allowed to fight as champions. We're going to raid Venice. Venice is a great raiding area, as they barely have any troops and pretty high development. Just this one holding has 103 raid loot. That's immense. Now keep in mind, when you raid, they're allowed to attack you. That means we're hostile for a little bit. They're going to raise these troops and try to oppose me, but their troop count is lower, they have less knights, and I'm pretty sure those knights are worse, considering he has very low martial. They're also going to get a penalty, as you can't spawn your troops in an area held by the enemy. He's going to have to raise those troops here, go out into the sea, and then land, giving him a penalty. As you can see, we have a +30 advantage. Opponent is recently disembarked, giving him -30. We're also countering him with our men-at-arms. His bowman is countered by both our Bundi and our Huskarls, and his pikeman is countered by our Huskarls. But his armored footman is countering our Bundi. This makes them 29% less powerful in the way of damage. But we're easily able to stomp him, and we just bagged ourselves 100 gold, as well as Ippolita, a prisoner. Now prisoners are great. Sometimes you can ransom them. You could also negotiate a release and recruit them, as well as demand conversion. She wouldn't accept this though, as she is zealous. She is in no way in hell going to convert to some Viking religion. But you know what we can do? We can execute her. Now if you're playing as a Catholic ruler, this costs piety. But for us, we gain it as we sacrifice this woman. We'll keep raiding. Now we have 129 gold. We'll take this gold and head back, as we're now able to, with our passive income, form the Kingdom of Sweden. But we need another duchy title. Now we can check in our holdings. We should have enough land to form another one. I'll check up here in Hälsingland. The Duchy of Norrland controls 3 chiefdoms. We own 2 of those, so we can form it. We'll create a title. That means that we hold this title, but we own no land in it. But that's not a problem. It also means that I am now the rightful ruler of Chieftain Sverker, so he will accept my offer of vassalization. Now, once I have the kingdom title, I can give away the jarldom titles easily. But keep in mind that if you were to give away a title that is the same level as yours, for example, I am a jarl, I make someone else a jarl, they will become independent. Not good. I can now also offer vassalization to Chieftain Thorfinn. As you can see, my realm is growing at a breakneck speed. Also, rest in peace my beloved prince. This character is one of my favorites, Count Hastings, and it seems he died under mysterious circumstances before he could pull off his magic. If you want to see all that he's capable of, just check my channel. I play this guy a lot. Now we're going to disband our troops and take this gold that we have, and we're going to form the Kingdom of Sweden. This makes us a glorious king, and assuming you have all of the DLC, you also gain access to the royal court. This will let us use incredibly strong artifacts to gain extra power, like this house banner. It also lets us hold court. Another thing Vikings can do is to raise a runestone. Whenever we do something of significance, like a loved one dies, or we increase title rank, or we win a war, we can raise a runestone. This costs 50 gold, but gives a whopping 250 piety and 350 prestige. We'll put it in Uppland, our capital, which will give us a plus 50 levy size, meaning we go from 1600 troops to a whopping 2500. Huge. Now we are the rightful king of Sweden, meaning that a lot of people are willing to be vassalized, including jarls. But not only in our de jure territory, but also this man. He's very close to accepting it, so we'll start swaying him. We also occasionally get these court events, like our son Björn painting on the floor. His genius will be nurtured. Now we'll take our massive prestige that we've gained from raiding and making those titles, and we'll create another men at arms regiment. We're going to go for Viking Space Marines, the Varangian veterans. Now keep in mind, these are really expensive. They cost 270 prestige, but they're the best in the business, and that's what we'll need. They're going to cost 0.2 prestige every month just to own, and when we raise them, they cost 1 prestige as well, but they're the best. Once you build them, you can increase their numbers for the same price. We can increase it up to 5, so that's what we'll do, all the way. This puts us as minus prestige per month, but that is because we are reinforcing them. Once they're up, it's only going to cost minus 2 prestige. And we're also now a king, meaning we can make an accolade. This is a feature in tours and tournaments, and it basically lets us have an acclaim knight. Not only is he a great champion, but it also gives us some great bonuses. We'll go for our Riksgåthi and champion, Ulfkel. Now depending on his traits, we can get different bonuses here. But I really like Marauder, giving us prestige per dread on top of our other perk that also gives the same. And Valiant, giving us flat army damage. He is the champion of the wolf. Now we need to build up our dread. We currently have 0. A good way to earn dread is to make dreadful actions. One of those could be to steal an area of someone that holds it. But first, we want to be diplomatic. We'll pick up another perk. As we have really high diplomacy, we're going to go with Befriend. Befriend lets us use a specific scheme to try to become friends with people. It's really strong, so instead of swaying Chieftain Tanglehair, we'll instead try to befriend the Jarl of Småland. We have a 92% chance of this happening, and if we become friends, we have huge opinion benefits. There's also something going on. One of our vassals, Chieftain Rolfer, is hosting a hunt. We're going to attend, as this will give us prestige and perhaps help us lose stress, but also give us the hunter perk. Now when traveling, you need to be careful. You should hire a caravan master, but all those we have are really bad. So we're going to decisions and get one here instead. We'll get Tryggvi. Now our journey should be a bit safer. Now here we're traveling to a taiga. I don't really fear the danger events, but if you want to be sure, you look to the travel options and get a forest guide. This completely reduces the danger, but I want to save on money, and I'm not exactly scared. Traveling here will cost me 3 gold. Now be careful to what events you attend. This man quite likes me, but he is callous and an intricate web weaver. This man could have hosted this entire hunt just to kill me. We've also finished the sparring grounds, meaning that our retinue, our Huskars, the biggest one, is now gaining plus 20 damage and plus 10 toughness. This is huge. These units will fight like absolute beasts. We've now arrived at his hunt. Now we get to pick our intent. I'm going to go with Befriend. We'll try to become friends with Jarl Ivar of Bergslagen. Oh, and it seems we're falconeering. We also get a moment to talk to this man. Jarl Ivar, my best friend and vassal. We can appeal to his compassionate side, but he's deceitful. I don't think this man has passion for anything but killing, but he has huge stewardship. So we'll try to go for that. I think I won him over. The hunt failed, but I did get a bunch of opinion with this man. I can also give Thorfinn of Vermaland to him, as he's the rightful ruler. This just helps to clear up who rules who. When you're doing these sort of schemes, you will get events that will help you along or hinder you. We can get a bonus to our scheme by spending gold, but as we already have 80% success chance, I'll just hold off. Now we want to get this man, Jarl Sigurd, before he becomes a king. We could send him some gold now, before he gains more power. This puts him at 100 opinion, and as soon as he's out of his war, we might be able to get him as a vassal. There's also the matter of the Gotlanders. They're of course willing to join, and the more you gain, the more power you gain. Now, we have very prestigious people under our control, meaning that we need to change up our council. If they have a fist next to them, that means they're a powerful vassal. For example, this man holds a third of our troop count as his own, meaning that he wants the representation of being on the council. We could also ignore him, but this carries a minus 40 penalty to opinion. And just like that, I can vassalize my brother, Jarl Sigurd of Själland. This is huge. We're gaining land so quickly. We can also gain a great alliance with High Chieftain Ivar, the Boneless, our other brother. Alliances are great, as if someone declares war on me, I can call him in to help me. But also, if I declare war on someone, I can bring my ally in. Now, we made an alliance because we have a cultural house bond. But if I want an alliance with someone else, I can simply make a diplomatic marriage. For example, my nephew here could marry my daughter. Yeah, it's the medieval times, guys. Crusader Kings is a bit goofy like that. It will give us some great prestige, but also make an alliance with our estranged nephew here in Kiev. Let's do it. Now, as our daughter is just 2 years old, this is a betrothal. A promise that they're gonna get married. And we should probably have betrothed him to the son instead of the man. But next up, I would like to get Gillan to join me. And as soon as he's out of the war, our 41 gold will ensure that he's willing to join us. Now, while you do this, you should more or less always be raiding. You take your now massive army and you head back, oh you know it, to Italy. We're going to do a very classic thing. But first, a pit stop in Asturias, Spain. These northern Spanish kingdoms are usually very weak, as they're constantly fighting Al-Andalus, the Umayyads. And as they're fighting their wars, we sweep in and we start looting. Now we just got King Alfonso's brother, meaning he's most likely willing to ransom him for a lot of gold. We'll take it. Now, when you're moving too far into enemy territory, you start taking attrition. This is pretty gnarly, but sometimes you just have to do it. Just by moving in here, we'll take 190 casualties. So, we'll hold off. We'll stick to the coast. And with our new perk, we'll pick up Thoughtful. This will give even more opinion for every gift we give. But now, I feel like I'm happy with how much prestige I've gotten. We're going to switch over to martial focus, all the way to strategy. We need to increase our dread. Another thing we can do as we're raiding as Vikings is that we capture women and make them our concubines. If they're of a prestigious house, making basically the Queen of England, for example, our concubine, that carries some clout. Not only will we be gaining a lot of prestige, but everyone of her house will hate me. This could lead to some rivals. Be careful who you bed. We can also simply ransom her back for 25 gold. Another thing we can do is if we kidnap kids, we can, instead of ransoming them back for 10 gold, negotiate a release, recruit and demand conversion, and then take them as they're now part of our court, remove their existing guardian, and educate them ourselves. We find someone with good traits, like our intelligent wife here. We click convert culture. As he's already converted to Asatru, we then raise him as a Norseman. What we're doing is that we're basically gaslighting kids into thinking they're Vikings. And that's how you do the Viking daycare strategy. This is a great way to get more vassals into your court, by kidnapping children. I'm aware of how this sounds, but it's Crusader Kings, just a game. Sometimes you get really lucky. For example, this is someone's son, and he's willing to pay back 50 gold. Hey, I never said being a Viking was ethical. Now we take this mass of gold and we start buying areas. First, we vassalize this man. Then, we just start throwing gold around. If they're not willing, then we pay gold to them, which gives a huge opinion bonus. Then offer vassalage. We're basically buying land. Now, keep in mind, Orachehe, this area, is not ruled by Norsemen. This is the harsh taiga land of the Sami. We should avoid these at all costs. They're also really low development. They're basically eating reindeer meat and having a good time. Now all of these people join. Very good. And as you get more and more vassals, you start bordering more areas and you gain more military strength. It's a snowball effect. Make sure to check this, the current situation, if you can vassalize more people. If not, just keep throwing money at them. There we go, that's 150 gold. We'll head over here and raid one of my favorite spots, Cagliari. This place has a lot of gold. Look at how many vassals we can get. This is absolutely ridiculous. Oh, and as we're into our martial lifestyle and we don't have a commander trait, we can get one. I really like flexible leader. This reduces the enemy defensive advantage. Bah, what was this? Our vassal, Jarl Dog, has a lover, Asta. Yeah, we need to get some dread, so we'll imprison these people, and we do have a reason for it. We can either now execute her or him. Now if I execute him, I would gain some dread, which is useful, but it is tyranny. He hasn't deserved to be executed, just in prison. We're instead gonna ransom him back for 100 gold. And this 26-year-old woman, well, I'm sorry, but we're gonna give her to Jarl Bagsek. This gives me plus 30 opinion. A bit mean. I basically took his lover and sent him to another man. Now, never let them know your next move. We're gonna raid the Pope. Oh yeah, very good. We capture not the Pope, but a random Breton. Oh well, you can't get everything. Now always check the troop count. We have more troops than this man, so we're just gonna march into Italy and start raiding. Now we're full up on raid loot. We're gonna take our boat back home. And with all this gold we've gained, we'll start buying vassals. You send gift and offer vassalage. Send gift. Now here, we can't do it as our realm is too distant. But as soon as we get this vassal and let the game run for a bit, it updates, and now we're closer to him. Our borders are now connected. Send gift and offer vassalage. And let's start ransoming these people out. If they're not willing to pay, sacrifice them. This gives us piety, which is great. Now with our mass of gold, we'll upgrade our war camps, giving those stationed units even more damage. Our little grandson has now gotten his education trait, and he got brilliant strategist. That's great. Now let's get him a spouse early. We're looking for someone with good genetics. Either good stats or genes is what you need when you're marrying someone. We'll go for Milinka Udskadar, who has the trait Hail. This has a chance of making the children of these people very strong. Or how about Skjaldvur? That's perfect. Not only is she generous, but also vengeful and fickle, a true protector of this family. And here we returned with a bunch of loot. We'll pick up our first martial lifestyle point. We want as much dread as possible, but we also want our troops to be better. So we're gonna go for organized march and hit and run. That boosts our toughness and damage even more. And Bellum Justum reduces the cost of declaring wars. Casus belli, cause for war. Now what wars can we declare now that we've used peace to gain a lot of land? If we earn enough prestige that our fame level increases to illustrious, we will be able to do an invade kingdom. But for now, I'm just gonna keep raiding and keep buying up areas, and I'll get back to you once I'm done. We've now earned enough renown. Now renown is separate. It's earned from having a big dynasty, having your dynasty members be kings, dukes, or kings by marriage, for example. This we then put into our dynasty legacies. Now keep in mind, to be able to do this, you need to be the house head. In this case, I am the house head of both my dynasty, Munsö, but the big dynasty, of Sigurd. That means that I can put down the dynasty legacy. Now we already started with blood, increasing the chance of inheriting good genetical traits. But I want to go with sea wolves. This is the pillared tree that is all about raiding. It gives us +1 prowess, but also increased naval speed and more prestige and fame from battles. Very good. Now there is one casus belli that all tribals have access to that is really strong, and that is that of subjugation. Any tribal ruler, no matter his strength, can be subjugated, meaning I take his entire land and force him to become a vassal. That means that we could subjugate all of the Finns, but we'll hold off on that for a little bit. We want to increase our fame level to illustrious, so that we can declare duchy wars. A good way to do this when you have a lot of gold is to simply have an activity. We're going to host a grand tournament. Even though it says 395 gold to host, in reality, it is a whole lot cheaper. We're going to have a duel, and I will participate. I'll also have the prizes be the finest quality we can possibly get to, as I aim to win this myself. Start the grand tournament. We're already guaranteed to qualify, but that doesn't stop us from doing a few of the events at the event. Here we go. Time to win that prize. I mean, we paid for it. There's few joys as great as winning a duel. Rane scrambles backwards across the uneven ground, and then it screams, wait, I'm rich! You need this victory. It gives me 100 coins. Can't buy your way out of this one, Rane. And I go to yell at him as my diplomacy is pretty high. Duel 1, and already our prestige has increased. Another great victory. Oh yeah, we're absolutely wrecking these people. It has to do with our really high prowess. And I won, meaning I earn a whole lot of prestige, a bit of gold. I became a gifted duelist, giving me even more prowess, as well as the prize that I paid for. On top of this, I will also get 600 prestige for winning and hosting the event. I get a prize hammer. This is why you splurge on your tournaments. +9 prowess, an extra knight, and 35 raid speed. That is huge. It's also bumped up our prestige by a whole lot. So let's equip this hammer. Now just look at how much gold we're earning. Now, as we're illustrious, we can declare wars on entire duchies. We'll start subjugating the Finns, a very Swedish tradition. I'm so sorry, my Eastern brothers, but yeah, your land sort of belongs to me. Now let's raise the troops and march in. We outnumber him something ridiculous. even if he calls it his allies. So it could be worth to taking these troops and disbanding them. We don't need to go in full force. Now we're gonna spread out our armies. And here is an example where I don't mind taking a bit of casualties from attrition. As we're also a king, a man has come to us with an inspiration. Or rather, a woman. A Tengria war woman that has legendary skill. We're gonna sponsor her to make us an armor. Just like that, we've captured both areas. And it looks like he's coming back home. He's going for my capital, so let's see if we can catch him before he gets to us. Or we simply siege down his areas. Now to win a war in Crusader Kings, you need 100 war score. You gain war score by taking his areas, especially his capital, as well as winning battles. You can also, if you're lucky, capture his heir or his siblings. We also had another person. This woman, Danuta, is wanting to go on an adventure. We'll sponsor it, as we have some money to spare. We also pick up a new perk. We'll go for Organized March. This increases the screen of all of our units. Now screen is the defend to pursuit. When the battle is over, and the other side that has lost is running away, screen protects the units as they're fleeing, meaning you lose less troops overall. You can also do this. Click station besiegers on an army sieging, and you will leave as many troops you need to continue the siege, unlocking some troops to go and fight other wars, like messing up these Finns. We also got a flexible scale armor. Wonderful. And just like that, we've done it. We have taken High Chiefdom of Finland. Now when you conquer a land, you will get the title most of the time. You can either hold on to it, but in this case, I'm going to take some of my gold and make the duchy, and then give this away to my grandson, Björn Ironside. You click the areas, and then the whole duchy. That makes him, oh yeah, a Jarl. Jarl Björn too, because the first Jarl Björn, well, that's me. Very good. Now here's another fun mechanic. As these Finns were fighting these Finns, and I now hold the land, the war is against me now. So we're gonna raise our troops, but not all the way here. We'll instead make a new rally point. Then click the rally point and raise all troops. Our adventure woman has found a ring said to be worn by Angelica, known from the stories of Roland and Charlemagne. We got very lucky. This is a famed pedestal item. More renown, extra attraction opinion, flat prestige, and as well as enemy hostile scheme success chance -5. Wonderful. Let's put that up in the court. Now let's crush these Finns. Now this is a war against, and if we make them surrender, we will get gold. But I don't care about that for now. I just want the war to be over. So we're going to go with a white peace. That's basically all of the sides just putting down their weapons and not claiming anything. Very good. Also, make sure to ransom as you go, as well as sacrifice. But do be mindful, this woman has the trait quick, meaning she'll make for a great concubine. For example, my grandson. Here you go. Bit of a weird gift to give to your kid, but yeah, a side piece. That's what you get. Now, as we have a lot of prestiges waiting, we're going to take these Varangian veterans and beef them up to 5 size again. Then we'll go for another Varangian veteran unit and beef this up to max size as well. This gives us 1,500 Varangian veterans, absolute beasts on the battlefield. And these we will station in Värnamo, giving them even better bonuses, all while trying to get to the titles we need to get Scandinavia. We're trying to do this before we die, as if we hold the Empire title, the succession won't split completely chaotically. We'll still most likely hold the Empire. Now the Finnish area is by far the easiest to conquer, so we're gonna do that. This whole area is basically just 4 counties. Let's take it. But let's not settle for that. Let's take all of Finland in one massive war. That's about all I can declare with my current prestige. But let's raise all of the troops and head in. 1 army for 1 area. That should be perfectly fine. This is borderline unethical. And just like that, we've sieged an area and taken a valuable hostage and forced the map. And we took a banner. Burn it. And I've gotten a son! Randver! But my wife died. Not good. Not good at all. But it is pretty good because we can get a new, younger one. It's a bit messed up, but we're basically upgrading to a new model. Now we can sort depending on what we want. Relevance is just overall a good wife. Alliance power is the strongest alliance. In this case, Khazaria. Prestige gain shows how much prestige we will get. Rank is the woman with the highest title. In this case, a chieftain's. Age? Well, yeah, no, let's not do that. And then you can sort by skills. Keep in mind that you can have your wife impart some of her skills onto you. So let's say that I want way more intrigue, or in this case, way more learning. Well, in that case, you sort by learning, take a woman with high learning, preferably not too old, and marry her. Then go to your council and have her assist in patronage. That bumps my learning from 1 to 10. Now the wars are completed, but as you can notice, we're holding way too many holdings. This gives us some huge penalties. So we'll start to give this away. We'll make a duchy, and then grant it to none other than this humble, sadistic, and honest man. Very good. We'll also give Ulu to this man, ransom the prisoners, and that is how you conquer a lot of wins. Another really fun thing about Vikings is that your vassals are very warlike. And in this case, my vassal, Jarl Sigurd, is doing a subjugation war on Jylland, meaning that he's going to subjugate this area for me. And as he's my vassal and doesn't reach a higher title than me, he gains me land. Now we powered all the way to hit and run. That gives our heavy infantry huge bonuses. Look at how incredibly strong our Huskarls are. Having gone from a base damage of 40 and a base toughness of 26, we now have 86 damage and 51 toughness. These guys can take on anyone. Shall we put them to the test? Let's put them to the test. We're going to raise all as raiders into one massive raiding army. And we're going to do the biggest raid of them all. We're going to raid Byzantium for an instant 233 gold. This is a worthy adversary. It's going to take us 50 days to raid. And the massive army of the Byzantines can come at any moment with their incredibly powerful cataphracts, armored heavy cavalry. But I have a feeling that we can pull this off. Boom! 200 gold! And a daughter! A Norseman! A Varangian! Now, we will see what lands he controls directly and raid each and every holding for a chance of capturing some of his items. Our raid speed is insanely fast because of our great price hammer. And we've also built up these warrior lodges, making our Varangian veterans even stronger. Give me your loot, you Greek chumps! Now we head on over to the papacy once more. I wanna capture the Pope. My brother died? Oh no, half and white shirt. Of course we'll make a grand stone ship. A Viking funeral worthy of a Viking. Close the mound and gain some prestige. Let's go for someone more powerful. West Francia, for example. Or heck, the Andalus, the Umayyads. I'm going straight to Kurtuba. These people are immensely rich. Surprise, it's the Vikings. We're all out of supplies, meaning we're losing a bunch of soldiers per month. So, the raiding journey will have to take a quick stop, but we'll get back at it right after we're done. Well, I might have gone a bit crazy and declared war on the entirety of the North, but I'm not getting any younger. I want to get the whole empire. So, we're gonna take all of our troops and go for one big war. Raise all of the lands. We'll start by fighting this north. We'll split the troops. I believe in us. It's dangerous, but it has to be done. The War of the North. As you can see here, after a battle, you get a post-battle analysis. In this case, the Battle of Olofsborg was won. We can see here in the details who did what. And as you can see, well, the Varangian veterans killed 200 men and only lost 10. Very, very strong. We'll also pick up Parthian tactics, as we can get to envelopment, increasing the counter efficiency of our men-at-arms. This battle was also very effective, where our Varangian veterans killed 400 men and only lost 14. These guys are very, very strong, even incredibly outnumbered. We can slay any foe, and just like that, we've taken an area. Now, if you're new to the game, fighting this many wars can be a bit distracting, but just use the pause button whenever you need it and you should be fine. Booyah! We're still winning, we're still on top, and we just got envelopment, letting us counter people even harder. We can even vassalize more people. This guy, it seems that my people, especially the Dane, has conquered a bit of area here. We're expanding, and we don't even have to do anything for it. Another war done, another duchy taken. One step closer to our Scandinavian domination. Booyah! More land. And we got a crown. Nice. So much land, so little time. Just keep your massive armies on the move and you can conquer things at a breakneck speed. Booyah! The man has been captured and we control his area. Like beating up Finnish fish in a barrel. And just like that, all of those wars have been won. And Sweden is looking pretty thick. Thick enough that we can create the glorious kingdom of Finland. But not just that. Also, the entire gosh darn empire of Scandinavia. And just like that, I have become a mighty high king. The Norse tribal equivalent of an emperor. And when I do die, the title goes to my son, but the realm stays intact. Very cool. Now we can take this one step further. As we now have the empire, we can then reform the faith. To do this, I need to hold 3 holy sites. I currently only hold 2 of them, but there's one here in Jorvik. It's controlled by my brother's son, my nephew. We can get him to join our empire, but we need to be a bit closer. So, we're going to get land that borders both of them. High Chieftain Barid Maklavar. We're just gonna take a little bit of land. Annadale. We'll just raise the local army. We don't need all our soldiers to come with. And go straight for the capital. We also get sappers. Now this perk is wonderful, as it gives us siege progress to our normal units. Now normally when you siege, you have to use siege engines. For example, the French have access to onagers. These units get plus 0.2 per day to siege progress. But now, all of our infantry gain 0.1, meaning this siege has 2.1 siege progress per day. Wonderful. Boom! This small Scottish area is taken, but this puts me next to my nephew, meaning his minus 500 for remote realm is now gone. And it would let me vassalize him by just giving him once again a bit of money, and then we offer vassalage. And just like that, all of his land is under my control. Same with my other nephew. His land is also mine. And just like that, peacefully, we have formed all of Scandinavia and taking Jorvik, our holy site, in less than 25 years. And you can do it too by just following this video. Now, we're going to reform the religion. To do this, we're gonna need a lot of piety. But there is a wonderful perk. If you go all the way to learning, pick scholarship focus to gain the most learning skill, and then move quickly to prophet. Or, if you happen to be a very based Viking, make sure you release anyone of your own house, and then simply execute everyone. Goodbye! This gained me a whole lot of piety. We can also go on a pilgrimage activity. We're going to go with a pious pilgrimage to no other place than the area we just conquered. Get a caravan master, as well as experienced captains to reduce the sea danger. Now with pilgrimages, going with a smaller groups earns you more piety and costs less. So that's what we're gonna do. And we have arrived. This is a great way to get more piety. Now we want to increase the piousness as much as possible. So take any option that gives you either learning skill or more piety. The pilgrimage is done and we gained 850. We have now returned, which is very good. What in the gosh darn is Firenze doing? What is this pink bubblegum kingdom doing here, huh? I don't want to think about it. And while that is brewing, we're gonna do one last big adventure. We'll capture this area, Venice. Once we came as raiders, now we come as conquerors. Work your way down the theologian tree to get to prophet. And look at that, 18,000 Vikings in one holding. That's the biggest army I've ever seen. Boom, area taken, very nice. Now why did I take Venice? Well, you see, now I have access to the Byzantine Empire, and I can invade a kingdom and take all of Thessalonica, basically biting the head of the snake of the most powerful empire other than my own. There can only be one, Highlander style. Now let's give this to someone with really high stewardship. Thorgils, you my friend, you rule Venice. You're the Venice Viking! Now we'll take our massive prestige and bump up these units one last time. And then to offset the prestige loss, we'll raise a runestone and hold a glorious feast that will be remembered through the ages. This, my friends, is the feast to end all feasts before we set out on our great adventure. Feast over. Not as much prestige as I want. Tell you what, we'll hold a grand tournament once more. It worked last time and I'm sure I can win despite my age. But I can't compete because of my health? Oh well, I guess I'll hold off for now then. I am dying after all. It's a normal part of life. What about a hunt instead? A big, glorious hunt. That's what we'll do. We're hunting for foxes. I killed the fox. And I've gained a bunch of prestige. Very great. Very wonderful. Now we are ready to do it. But we need a bit more prestige to upkeep our army. So to do that, we can create some titles. Titles that can be created will give us glorious amounts of prestige, turning gold to prestige. Venice, Karelia, and Trøndelag. Just like that, we are way richer. Just remember to give away the titles to those that actually own the area, as holding too many of these areas gives you a penalty. That should be enough prestige to go to war. My friends, it is time. The Basilius is out hunting, and we shall strike at him like the dog he is. He has a whopping 6,000 troops at his disposal. We have 20,000. It is time that this man learns to fear the Varangian veterans. We are coming home to our holding. Byzantion beckons. We will take all of Thessalonica in this once-in-a-lifetime invasion on an entire kingdom title. Let's go. Now we'll stage our invasion from nowhere else but this place. The glorious Venetia. Raise all of the lads. We're going in. Now remember, we have prepared for this the whole time. Our massive empire gives us not only one, not only two, but 22 champions with a knight effectiveness of plus 200%. All of these warriors will fight like utter demons. And as we're Norse Every man is expected to fight properly. We are ready. We will go. 22 knights, 2,000 Varangian veterans, and a whole lot of levies. Byzantium beckons. And we can get more vassals. Imagine this. A horde of Vikings sailing slowly across the Mediterranean. The Messenian Sea, full of chanting of war drums and voices as we make landfall. But who shall lead them? But Tangelhair himself. The most impressive Vikings of all. The man that vows to become King of Norway. If you win this battle for me, Tangelhair, I shall give you your throne as you wish. Now take his land! A glorious battle! 20,000 men charging against the immense cataphracts, but alas, they're countered by my veterans. He wounded. Oh, look at him! We're fighting the Basilius himself! Capture the man! He dares put on a battle crown! Hooyah! We got Demetrios. Who the heck is Demetrios? We're gonna station some besiegers here and start heading out. We'll split the army. As where we're standing right now, we can't keep this many troops. The land in the area just can't support that many men in one area. We'll spread out. And come the enemy again, we will get at them. Now, sieging Constantinople will take a whopping 3 years. But alas, we have time to spare. We can also siege surrounding baronies while we do that. But a battle! Adrianopolis is coming for us. But Chieftain Haralder is fighting for his claim. Look at this! He crushed him again! The battle at Adrianopolis. The Huskarls killed 500 men, but the veterans 434, taking barely any losses. Now that is impressive. But no! What's this? It's stomping in my head! I'm having an aneurysm! No! I need to think clearly. I'm not gonna die here. I'm spared! For now. It seems that my age of 69, nice, is starting to get to me. Which is good, because we have to hurry up finishing this adventure. Come here, you Viking Krump! Truly magnificent. How many years left? 10 months. We can do this. I believe in us. Under the guidance of Chieftain Harald Tangelhair, the legend of Vestfold, this holding shall be ours. Rolf Ragnvalder's son died, and I got the branch of the sacred oak of Thor. A glorious bear claws. This man just gave me a massive stash. I can't believe it. A reminder that there is good in this world. The branch of the sacred oak of Thor. In my little holding. Little holding, it's the biggest holding in all of the world. Now take Byzantium. Burn it to the ground. Pull them from their holding and seize their land. Huzzah! The land is ours. Now they fall into our trap. And we slay them all! And with the air captured, Byzantium beckons! Thessalonica is ours! Let's go! Let's go! But I do believe there's 2 more things that I had promised. As we took the title, you, my Harald friend, I create the Kingdom of Norway, and I give it to you. Come on, you can cut your hair now. Mikla Gardariki, as an author to hold, oh my lord. I didn't know that was an achievement. I guess we got that too. Come on, you can cut your hair now. You became King of Norway. Oh, damn it. I was the first King of Norway. And now we can never cut or brush his hair again. I'm sorry, man. But you're still King of Norway, just the second one. Now, of course, we move our realm capital all the way down here. We make the Kingdom of Thessalonica, and we rule from here with an iron fist. And lastly, we reform the faith. By simply executing all of these, we will gain a whole lot of piety. Now, you can design this however you want, but for the sake of it, I'm just gonna keep it exactly as it is. Reform the faith. The author to faith has been reformed. The empire created. Our army rivals that of any other force on the world. We have defeated the biggest enemy there was. This, my friends, is how you set up and all of that in just 30 years. This is the best way to play as Vikings in Crusader Kings 3. Now feel free to follow along with this video and do your own adventure. From here, you can have the Munsa dynasty spread out. You can willingly hand over the empire to someone else and go away on a great Varangian adventure. This will leave all the other land behind and you can start over, but this time with all of these glorious troops. This has been Koifish, teaching you how to play the best Viking game of your lifetime. Hope you like this more tutorial style video. I tried to cram as much of my Crusader Kings 3 Viking knowledge into this as humanly possible. So if you want to see more guides on how to play other areas, leave a like, tell me down below in the comments, and consider subscribing for more. Until next time, stay Viking, my dudes. Right.